America is back.
Who would have thought that Tesla, once a symbol of the future and technological advancement, would be on the brink of collapse? Right now, we are witnessing one of the most famous companies in the world facing unprecedented economic blows. And this crisis is not just a consequence of competition or market fluctuations, it is a political battle where the stakes are not only the future of Tesla, but also the reputation of Elon Musk himself. What happened? The Canadian government decided to slap a whopping 100% duties on Tesla cars. And if this seems like just another step in the trade wars to you, think again. It means that the cost of a Tesla in Canada is simply doubling. A model that used to cost $55,000 will now cost around $110,000. What does that mean for consumers? And what does it mean for Musk himself? Will Tesla lose not only the Canadian market, but also key positions on other continents? But that's not all. Along with the duties, Canadians cancelled a contract with Musk's most important subsidiary, Starlink, which was supposed to provide internet to remote regions of the country. The loss of this contract is a blow not only to Musk's revenues, but also to his strategic interests. It's like having one of the most important trump cards in the political game taken away from you.
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
Against the backdrop of these events, Tesla's stock began to plummet, and investors began to withdraw from the company en masse, fearing that the situation could get out of control. Within a month, the stock lost almost 30% of its value, and major investors such as Vanguard and BlackRock began to reduce their positions. When such giants start losing confidence, what is left for ordinary shareholders? This is the beginning of global financial turbulence for Tesla, and it's just beginning. In parallel with the falling stock price, confidence in Tesla among buyers is rapidly declining. In Germany, sales have collapsed by 70%. In the US, Tesla owners have started hiding the logos of their cars to avoid being associated with Musk's policies. It is no longer a secret that Musk himself has become a symbol of political polarization, and while a few years ago Tesla was associated with a progressive future, now it has become part of a much dirtier political game.
Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
And what of its competitors? While Musk is trying to hold on to his empire, Chinese giants like BYD and NIO are rapidly taking over the market. Tesla is losing market share in China, Europe, and Australia by the day, and the further it goes, the harder it is to hold onto its lead. Tesla models no longer seem as compelling as they once did, and competitors are offering cheaper and more technologically advanced cars. Now comes the big question: can Musk save the company, or has Tesla already passed the point of no return? In this video, we'll break down the details, look at the full picture of the crisis, and try to figure out what comes next. What will become of Tesla in the coming months? And will competitors be able to take its place at the top of the industry? Stay tuned and find out everything.
USA, no Musk, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Musk, no KKK, no fascist USA.
When Elon Musk learned that the Canadian government had decided to impose 100% duties on Tesla cars, his reaction was overwhelming. It wasn't just an economic blow, it was a real political shock. The Canadian government, under pressure from local manufacturers and in response to aggressive US trade policies, made a decision that could change the entire game in the electric car market. While Tesla used to be not only a pioneer but also a near monopoly in the electric car market, the situation has now changed dramatically. The 100% duty actually doubles the price of the car, and if the Model Y cost $55,000, now it will cost almost $110,000. This puts Tesla out of reach for most Canadian consumers, which opens the door for Chinese and European competitors that are becoming more technologically advanced and affordable by the day. But what's behind this move by the Canadians? Some analysts argue that this tariff is not just an economic measure, but a hardcore political strategy. It is very likely that it is a revenge for the trade war that is unfolding between the US and a number of other countries. Canadian authorities have apparently decided that if the US is going to impose tariffs and impede trade, they shouldn't allow Tesla to quietly make money in the Canadian market, especially since Musk, according to Canadians, is strongly associated with Donald Trump's political line. On a political level, Musk has become not just a businessman, but a strategic symbol to be fought. That fight may not be so much economic as political, and Tesla's vulnerability is the perfect target for a blow to US economic power. For Musk, however, the move was a real test. The Canadian market was strategically important to Tesla, and losing it could have serious financial consequences. Musk himself has always been a symbol of unbridled optimism and confidence, but now his company faces a real threat of losing its leading position. In addition, we should not forget that Tesla in Canada not only sells cars but also develops the infrastructure of charging stations, which means that the loss of this market will affect not only car sales, but also the entire Tesla ecosystem. And despite the company's best attempts to explain that it has nothing to do with politics, popular hostility towards Musk is growing, making the situation even more critical.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. A lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
In parallel, Canada has also been hit by a series of economic moves against American technology. Following the imposition of duties on Tesla, the government is cancelling a long-awaited contract with Starlink, a Musk subsidiary that was supposed to provide internet connectivity in the most remote regions of the country. It was a $66 million contract, a huge sum that Musk already considered an unqualified success. Now, however, having lost such an important contract, Musk finds himself in an even more difficult situation. Not only is his company facing direct damage, but his ambitious projects to develop the internet for remote regions of the country are being jeopardized. This could put an end to a whole series of projects and bring down Musk's reputation as an entrepreneur who is unable to provide for his customers. All of these steps, seemingly insignificant at first glance, add up to something much more significant. The Canadian government's operations are becoming part of a global political game where Musk has found himself a target. Where once Tesla was seen as an innovator and a symbol of the future, it has now become a symbol of political animosity, and car owners, especially in Canada, are beginning to wonder if it's worth supporting a company associated with a man who has become such a controversial figure in the global political landscape. But how will all this affect Tesla itself? Already, as the company's stock has begun to plummet, it's clear that public perception has changed. Tesla, for so long seen as a leader and technological pioneer, has become part of the political conflict. Musk, who has always had a reputation as a bold and troubled entrepreneur, now risks losing not only the market but also investor confidence. Some of the biggest funds, such as Vanguard and BlackRock, have started to actively reduce their stakes in Tesla, which only exacerbates the company's financial situation. The departure of such major players may be the first signal that Tesla's very structure is beginning to crumble under the weight of external and internal problems.
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them, that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
However, this is only the beginning. Musk faces even bigger challenges that go beyond just financial losses. The loss of the Canadian market is just the tip of the iceberg. More serious threats to Tesla are already looming on the horizon, stemming from growing competition and political decisions that are only increasing the pressure on the company. This could be a downfall not only for Tesla as a business, but also for Musk himself, who was once a symbol of invincibility. How he will come out of this crisis, only time will tell. But one thing is certain: The situation in which Musk and his companies find themselves could be the beginning of the end of his empire. After Tesla's tariffs went into effect in Canada and the company lost an important market, more and more troubling things started to happen to it. One by one, countries where Tesla once enjoyed support began to take action, rejecting Musk's products. At first glance, these may have seemed like localized crises, but each new blow increasingly undermined the company's credibility. For example, in Germany, where Tesla opened a giant factory in Berlin, sales dropped by 70%. What was initially seen as a manufacturing success and a revolution in the auto industry now looks like a disaster. The statistics told us that Tesla was no longer seen as a symbol of the future. Instead, people began to realize that the company was falling behind its competitors.
Well, when you look at the kind of input Musk has been having into politics, there has been some polling done which suggests there is a strong dissatisfaction with Elon Musk's views on weighing into very much national politics, national elections in Europe. And then on top of that, when you see the backdrop of Tesla upgrading its product line and the impact of them trying to chase more sales at the back end of last year, that means it's short on inventory. It can't necessarily sell as many vehicles or doesn't have as many in stock to sell. So there is that issue there of a confluence of impacts, which means that sales have been falling. Again, the question is how much more that will impact into February as well, given that the back end of last year in 2024, Tesla sales did slip overall.
Needless to say, this wave of alienation among buyers led to a sharp drop in the prices of Tesla cars on the aftermarket. While the price of a used Model 3 was still at a high level a year ago, the cars have now started to go for pennies on the dollar. In some US cities, prices on the secondary market have fallen by 30% in a few months. This trend has been exacerbated by low demand for new cars. Even if Tesla made attempts to boost its sales through big discounts, it didn't help. Fewer and fewer people were willing to buy a car that once had the Tesla logo emblazoned on it, and now they were starting to look for alternatives. But the main blow came from a place Musk didn't expect. In Europe, while Tesla has long dominated the electric car market, it has had to face increasing competition. Chinese brands like BYD and NIO have taken over the market with much more affordable and technologically advanced models. While Tesla was still advertising its Model 3 as the future of automobile manufacturing, the Chinese were already offering cars with better features, lower prices, and much more advanced autonomous driving systems. They were also providing better service and adapting more quickly to the needs of local markets, offering options that met the quality and price demands of Europeans.
For example, here in the UK, sales year on year from January of this year to January of last year, down 12%. You can see Norway even worse, minus 40%, Netherlands minus 43%, Germany minus 60%, France even higher, the most actually, one of the biggest, minus 63%, and there we go, Spain even 75%. Germany, of course, comes to mind because Musk campaigned for the far-right AfD in elections last weekend, and they are now the second biggest party in Germany ever since World War II. But we did see over the past couple months, ever since President Trump was elected on November 5th, the share price of Tesla rocketing.
Amid these setbacks, Tesla has also faced growing anger towards the brand. Acts of vandalism have begun in various countries. Tesla cars were attacked. The owner of one Model S in Paris told how his car was scratched several times by unknown people, and the inscription "You don't belong in Europe" was left on the windshield. The situation has escalated to the point where people have been setting Tesla cars on fire at night in some cities. A particularly high-profile case occurred in France where unknown people set fire to the entire Tesla showroom, causing multi-million-dollar damage to the company. These events illustrated just how much Musk's brand has come to be seen as a political object of hate. And while Tesla continued to fight for its reputation, Chinese competitors were quietly taking over the market, offering cars that were not only superior to Tesla in technology, but also much cheaper. But Tesla didn't just lose European and Canadian markets. In Australia, the situation was just as troubling. Sales fell 30% in just 1 month. This market was one of the last bastions for Tesla in the Southern Hemisphere, and losing so much market share here was a big blow to the company. Australia, long a supporter of Tesla, has now found itself looking for better deals, which has also opened the door for Chinese and European European. New electric cars, such as models from Lucid and Rivian, have begun to occupy a niche, that used to be entirely in Tesla's hands. The situation was becoming increasingly catastrophic. Even if Musk had decided on urgent reforms, competitive pressures continued to mount, and there was no guarantee that Tesla could regain its former greatness.
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
While the economic situation is worsening, Tesla itself is facing serious internal problems. Signs of desperation have already started to appear within the company. Musk, who has always been a symbol of a tough corporate culture, is now facing mass layoffs. According to unofficial reports, Tesla has lost about 15% of its workforce in 2024, including key engineers and managers, a major blow to internal processes. Employees complain of worsening working conditions and increasing pressure for Musk to save face and regain lost ground. This is not surprising given the current state of the company. Pressure from investors and the public is mercilessly increasing, and production and financial results are deteriorating every quarter. All these factors create a worrying picture for Tesla, which was not prepared for such internal and external challenges. However, this is not the only problem the company is facing. Another big challenge is the shortage of key components, such as chips and batteries. The vertical integration strategy that Tesla prided itself on a few years ago has now started to turn into a serious problem. Competitors that have signed lucrative contracts with suppliers and established their own supply chains are successfully circumventing these obstacles. While Tesla faces shortages, production lines are slowing down and delivery times for new cars are increasing. Unsurprisingly, this is leading to a drop in confidence from customers who are beginning to look for more reliable and affordable options. In particular, Chinese brands like BYD are quickly pushing Tesla out of the European and Chinese markets by offering cheaper but equally high-quality electric cars.
Tesla shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio. Remy, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration. Some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain. But because of what's happening here in Europe, Tesla sales fell by nearly half across the continent just last month, 45%.
Competition is getting tougher, and Chinese companies such as NIO and BYD are not only offering higher quality cars at lower prices, but are actively taking over the market. Tesla, on the other hand, despite its best efforts to improve its technology, is increasingly looking outdated in the eyes of consumers. The time when Tesla could dictate its terms and set high prices for its models has passed. Customers now focus on companies that offer not only lower prices but also better technological solutions. For example, Chinese company NIO has already introduced several models equipped with advanced autonomous driving systems, as well as next-generation batteries that significantly increase driving range on a single charge. While Tesla is still trying to introduce these technologies into its models, Chinese cars have long been popular in the European market. Now comes the big question: can Musk adapt to the new reality, when the world of electric cars is rapidly changing and his empire is starting to crumble under the onslaught of competitors and political decisions? Perhaps he needs to rethink his strategy, think about how he can regain interest in Tesla, and realize that the old methods are no longer working. Some experts even argue that Musk may even be forced to leave his post at Tesla to make way for new leadership that can adapt the company to new conditions. But is this a possibility? Or are we on the verge of the end for Tesla, a company that was once a pioneer in the world of innovation?